Hello! Today on New Year's Eve we are getting ready to decorate a Christmas tree. And the topic of today's tutorial is Christmas and New Year decorations, stars and snowflakes. Webspace is full of information today on how one can decorate one's house, how to make the holiday brighter with the help of New Year decorations. And our topic, of course, cannot stand aside. We are working on this matter too. I'd like to show you several ways of making New Year's decorations. We started this topic last year when we were weaving spiral decorations. Today we are going to make stars and snowflakes. Let's start from such a 6-angled star. We have tried plenty of variants starting from such big and clumsy stars. As a result, we have developed our own technique, and today my daughter and I would like to share it with you. While weaving our stars, we have experimentally come to the best size. These are the first attempts, not very successful. To hang such a star onto a Christmas tree, there has to be a very big tree. If you want to decorate your home tree, we've decided in favor of this size. What we do for it? I've got such narrow stripes, 5 centimeters wide and 32 centimeters long. Actually, size can be different. The thing is that the tube has to be thin, because thick tubes make clumsy stars. If you compare, the difference is clearly seen. That is why we leave a thick tube for big items, and for these thin tubes we have taken a very thin knitting needle. You see, for thick tubes we use thick needles like this, while for thin ones I have used the thinnest one I've got. For one star I use 9 such tubes. Watch the angle, it has to be sharp. So we have rolled up enough tubes. And one more thing, together with my daughter we have tried and made several tubes from magazine paper. Because our item is small, while weaving we constantly twist and turn it, and as a result the tubes get broken. That's why we've decided to make the base from more rigid magazine tubes. This one has come out too thin. I was rolling these ones on a thicker knitting needle. You will see what for. As for these magazine tubes, it was especially important for me to make one tube thin and another one a little thicker. That is, there has to be some widening. What for? We pass on to the second stage. We have experimentally concluded that 7 centimeters is quite enough for such a small star. We mark the distance of 7 centimeters on the tube, I do it even without a pencil, and make bands. It is what I've got. I have to shape a triangle, this way. Now I will show you what I needed a wider tip for. I cut a wider part of a tube in order to insert a thinner tip into it. One tube has to fit into another tightly. Meanwhile, I don't use glue. Why? Because when I tried, the paper used to get soaked. Actually, one can glue it and leave it overnight to dry, but as usual I feel like doing everything very fast. So it is better to make a wide gap for a thinner tip to fit into a thicker one well, and for a tube to get fixed tightly. Now we do the same actions with the second tube. We shape the second triangle. Start from here. From a thinner tip, we have marked 7 centimeters. Now our task is as follows. To fix the tubes to each other, I interlace them. 1, 2. It is better to tweak it inside here, so that the tips were interlaced with each other. Here the tube is above, so here I lead it underneath. So we shape such a star, interlacing the tubes with each other sequentially. It is a somewhat difficult moment. Let's try once again. If it seems too hard at the beginning, you can leave this very tip not interlaced. Of course, it would be perfect to interlace all the tubes with each other, but is not that vital, and it would be hard to do it without breaking the tubes. So, we shape a star. The best way to do it is to fix it with glue and to leave it for a night. But I will tell you honestly, I lack patience to wait till it dries out. That's why we start working right away.
Сразу говорю, у меня терпения не хватает ждать, пока оно высохнет, поэтому сразу начинаем работать. Для плетения используем трубочки мягкие, потому что журнальные, если мы начнем журнальными переплетать, они будут ломаться. Сформирована вот такая вот из двух треугольников, сформировали шестиконечную звездочку. Теперь берем мягкую трубочку, обязательно ее.
We use soft tubes. Because magazine tubes, if you start weaving with them, they will break. So we've got such a 6-angled star shaped from 2 triangles. Now we take a soft tube and soften it to avoid breaks in the places of bending, because there are going to be many of them. I join a soft tube to the first angle of our star. Place it onto it and lead inside. Lead it outside and go left. Hug. Here in the corner it is very important to hold with fingers in order to shape a smooth angle. Adjust the coils to each other and lead the tube inside for the second time. While weaving a star, it is very important to count the coils, because my first stars came out rather crooked. Because in one corner 3 coils seem to be sufficient, on another corner I decide to make 4 coils, and as a result the star comes out crooked. And as well, pay attention to the following technique. I don't lead a tube straight, but every time I bend it. I liked it better this way because the stars come out neater in this case. So, from one side we have made 5 coils already, that's enough. Let's have a look how my daughter is doing. Let's check what was wrong. We have hugged for the first time. Let the tube round from one side. Now lead round from the other side. Of course, if you had glued it, the second triangle would not have danced like this, but it's not a big deal. Just hold it with your fingers. Lead round once, lead round twice, The star is getting smoother.
Бывает. Старайся аккуратно.
Make several coils.
2. Так, перевернула. Нет,
1.
смотри, не перевернула. Видишь? Вот каждый раз.
Come out, turn the tube. The triangle has broken. Try to be careful.
Вот, перевернула.
2. Turn. Stop, you have not turned.
Считаем количество витков.
You see, every time you turn like this,
Теперь наращиваем.
lead it out. Turn. Well done.
Остренький. Конец.
Now count the number of coils. 1, 2, 3, 4. Enough. Now lengthen the tube here.
Такой момент. Смягчаем.
Choose a thinner tube.
Выводим. И следующий этап мы должны
Let me view in the place of connection because it is going to be rather hard.
новую трубочку на следующий
Soften
угол
the tube.
звезды. Наложили.
Hold. Lead out.
На финале
And the next stage,
вышивать
we have to place our new tube
как выше,
on the
как
next
мы
corner of
делаем
the star.
раз,
We've done it.
первый раз.
And start embroidering the next corner. You see, it is like a needle with a thread.
Треугольнички, ну, друг на дружке.
Let me help you here, and further you will continue on your own.
Смотри, с одной стороны получается 5, раз, два, три, 4, 5. А здесь мы пятым
Try to keep
витком
triangles on
делали
each
4
other.
витка, и пятым витком выводим на следующий угол.
Mom,
Ага.
look, you have made
Поэтому
4
так и
coils.
получится. С одной стороны
Look, from one side we have made 5 coils, while here we lead the 5th coil to the next corner.
продолжаем. Итак, мы вывели.
That's why it comes out this way. From one side we have 5 coils, while from the other side we have 4 of them, and we leave the 5th one out. So continue. We have made 5 coils from one side. On the other side we lead the 5th coil to the next angle. Continue. 1. Shape a nice angle.
Из журнальных, ну,
Here we have special requirements to the tubes. They have to be very flexible. I've tried weaving from magazine tubes, and actually I've succeeded. And while painting them, I like the result. But anyway, newspaper tubes are more flexible and less breakable, because magazine ones break more.
Больше всего мне понравилось, все-таки пришла к этому способу из обычных.
As for the ways of painting, I've come to the conclusion that most of all I like this method.
Обычно, и потом из баллончика.
I weave with regular tubes, then I cover the ready item with school glue as usual, and after that I paint it from a spray can. I spray it from both sides. 1, 2, 3, 4 coils. The 5th one legs. The place of connection is especially demanding. That's why we pay special attention to it. We do not pull.
Вот оно, это место. Как ни стараемся, все равно не избежать.
Here is this place.
Всегда так и у меня. Да. Подклеивать здесь, ну, все равно не рекомендую. Лучше
No matter how much one tries, one cannot avoid such moments.
размокает бумага.
But I would not recommend you to glue anywhere. It is better to hold places of connection with your fingers, because otherwise paper gets soaked and it becomes still harder to weave.
Так уже получается.
In the process of weaving, we shift the triangles and correct.
Не ляжет столько витков. Ну, потом постепенно, без резких движений.
Sometimes the angle seems too small for so many coils, but gradually, without sharp movements, we pull the coils aside or toward each other, correct,
Ой,
and embroider further.
значит, нужно взять другую. Видишь, ты ее не умягчила, значит, вначале.
The tube has unrolled. So take a different one. It means that you haven't softened it while starting to work.
Смотри, ты заправила, а теперь сделай вот это вот движение обязательно. И тогда у тебя она будет как
Look, you have inserted the tube, and now you have to do a movement like this. It will make it thread-like, and it will become easier embroidering with it. What has happened here? The tubes have disconnected. The gap was too small. That's all, unweave. It's not a problem. It happens sometimes when you train. Maybe we will even have to replace one triangle, but we'll see, maybe we'll do without it. But if the tubes have disconnected, you have nothing to do but reweave. Let's try to save the situation on these tubes. We have made a definite amount of coils, here we have 5 of them, and pass to the next angle. 1 with a soft tube, lead inside, 1 coil to the left, the second coil is to the right. I'd like to add a couple of words that the coil goes with turn. Look, in my first starts I didn't make any turns in the tubes, and I used to get one pattern. But now every time I don't just interweave them like this, but I do it this way, with turns. I'm not sure if it's clear, not this way, but like this, turn. And as a result the pattern comes out completely different. And it seems to me that it looks more like a filtery pattern. You see, here the pattern is simpler, while here it is a filtery-like, thanks to the turns. One more thing why I prefer not to glue. Well, first of all, because of my impatience to start weaving faster. And the second thing is that the tubes are flexible. Look, it seems as if one cannot fit 5 coils here, but because the tubes are flexible, you can move them. You can make the amount of coils identical. Here we lengthen the tube, place it onto the next angle, and weave in the same very well. So we have woven all the 6 angles of our snowflake and come back to the beginning. Now finish. If the tube was longer, it would be easier to insert it. In this case you just tuck the tube inside a little. Anyway, we are going to cover it with glue and then to paint, so it is not that important to insert it deep. It is enough to insert it as deep as 1 coil. That's all. Our snowflake is ready. Then we ground it, let it dry out, and spray with paint from a spray can. And after all you can decorate it. Here I was just tearing pieces of decoration off and sticking them with hot glue gun. Here together with daughter we were wrapping it with icicles, making coils from them. You can stick a bead onto it. Here everything depends only on your imagination. So the first variety of a snowflake is ready.